Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is renew. Renew. Now I'm gonna keep using this Hawaiian shirt all during these winter months to see how it does. But today I really wanted to think about renewing. So with that, it's a couple weeks into the new year. And maybe you made some New Year's resolutions, and usually this is about the point in time where you say, okay, have you stuck with it? Maybe you're doing good. Maybe you found out like on January the 2nd that the goal you had set for yourself wasn't going to last. But let's remember, I saw something a while back said, if you waited to the new year to change something, then it wasn't something you really wanted to do anyway. And just pointing out that if you put it off and put it off, and that you weren't going to ever do it. So today is the day of renewal. I mean, regardless of what decisions you've made in the past, today can be a day of renewal. And as Christians, we need to daily be renewing ourselves to the Lord, be renewed in spirit and in joy and in rejoicing and also in conviction of things that we've done. Not God convicts us of those things that we've done so we can grow from them, not fall in those same patterns and move forward. Satan uses that to guilt us into staying chained to the past where we feel like we can't move forward. So, as I say that today, this renewal is all about looking ahead. So, today, as we're going to be in 2 Kings chapter 11, and this week we'll go through through the end of chapter 14. And so, as always, I pray you'd be following along, reading with us, joining with us each and every day this week. So, in 2 Kings chapter 11, looking at verses 17 through 21, and you can see through all this the wickedness of Queen Athaliah, and you'll see what happens to her. But again, read the entire passage so you can see that. In verse 17 it says, then Jehoiada, I told you I'd mess it up, made a covenant between the Lord, the king, and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, and also between the king and the people. And all the people of the land went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They thoroughly broke in pieces its altars and images and killed Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. Then he took the captains of hundreds, the bodyguards, the escorts, and all the people of the land. And they brought the king down from the house of the Lord, and went by way of the gate of the escorts to the king's house. Then he sat on the throne of the kings. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet, for they had slain Athaliah with a sword in the king's house. Jehoash was 7 years old when he became king. Now, I wanted to go ahead and throw in that last part. He was 7 years old when he was made king. But I can't even imagine that. But just to think about this, that as Baal worship was really prevalent in Israel, it wasn't as much in Judah, but Athaliah was one that was definitely trying to get that done. And because there was basically a stronger presence of the worship of God, of Yahweh, the one true God, then it didn't take hold as much as it did in the northern kingdom. But here, it's something to think about that even then, Baal worship still took place. I mean, we still forget that these are God's chosen people, and they know the history better than you and I do, and it was passed on from generation to generation. The problem is a lot of those stories were failed to pass along as they were supposed to. But we can look back to God's word. They can look back to God's word and see what God had brought them through. But yet they chose to worship something they could put their hands on. And something that they could wrap their minds around. And you think about, even as we talked about Habakkuk yesterday, if you look in Habakkuk, you'll see the same thing. Is what good does it do to have gods that are handmade, that they have no breath in them? But see, this renewal here is basically a renewed commitment to God. They said, and that's why you see them going and getting rid of the Baal worship and even killing the priest of that was leading them in Baal worship. And see, that's what we need to do, as we talked about it last week, getting rid of those things, those old things, pushing them away. If you find that those old things keep coming back, then what better time to renew? To say, okay, I don't need to fall back into that pattern. And as we've been talking about prayer all this time, and this year talking about faith, to to say, look, I need that renewed commitment to the Lord. I need to have a more consistent quiet time, a more consistent prayer life, a more consistent worship, that we come to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So I don't know what maybe the Lord is laying on your heart today, but I pray that at the basis of it all, it would be a renewed commitment to Him today. God bless you all, and I pray you have a great, great day.